More than 3 million black South Africans were forcefully removed from their homes by the apartheid government. And the apartheid government did not negotiate with anyone. They just did what was best for their people. In 1994, we voted and we said majority rules. But people want to overrule the majority. The ANC has to negotiate with some people before they can do expropriation of land without compensation, even if they are doing it in a legal way. People go and consult foreign countries so that they can come here and stop us from exercising our democracy. You know, I grew up thinking my mother was coming from Gamampuru, only to realize that Gamampuru is a place where they are staying by default. Their home is in Magagamatala. They were forcefully removed. We are talking a recent history that was experienced by our mothers who are still alive today. When you look at people who are staying in Dofaya, Meadowlands, those people are from Sophia town. They were forcefully removed by the apartheid government and said, this place looks good for our people. You go and stay in Dofaya, Meadowlands. So now, it is about time that we start fighting for our rights. We fought for democracy. Let us allow democracy to rule. Let's not let organizations like AfriForum rule South Africa. Now they have taken Orania. Now other people are busy saying Cape Independence, Cape Independence. What are we going to be left with? Because people who are in Cape Town, mostly it's foreigners. They come there with dollars and pounds, and they come and rent cheap in Cape Town because for them, it is nothing. So now, the black child will be left with nothing because they are eating South Africa piece by piece. And listen to what God says about land in a country. Nobody can buy land permanently. Leviticus 25, starting from verse 23 to 28. The land must not be sold permanently because you reside in my land as foreigners and strangers. So we cannot allow a foreigner to come here, buy a piece of land and say, this is my permanent home. The land must just belong to the government. Because when a foreigner comes and buys land piece by piece, we will end up with nothing. Verse 24, throughout the land that you hold as a possession, you must provide for the redemption of the land. We must leave space for buying back the land from whoever bought that land. The government must hold the right to buy back the land. If one of your fellow Israelites becomes poor and sells some of their property, their nearest relative is to come and redeem what they have sold, cancel Israelite and write South African there. If somebody sold his land because he does not have money, they say their nearest relatives, they have a right to redeem that land. Either your cousin or your uncle or your sister or your brother. If not, when you are Xhosa and somebody, you have no one to redeem your land, rather we say your nearest kin is a Zulu person, your nearest kin is a Swati person, your nearest kin is a Sotho person, your nearest kin is a Venda person or a Tsonga person. We cannot allow a foreigner to own land in our country. If, however, there is no one to redeem it for them, but they later on prosper and acquire sufficient means to redeem it themselves, they are to determine the value for the years since they sold it and refund the balance to the one to whom they sold it. They can then go back to their own property. Your property must remain your property. What your grandfather owned must belong to your great-great-grandchildren. There is no such thing that a person can come here and buy land permanently. But if they do not acquire the means to repay, what was sold will remain in the possession of the buyer until the year of Jubilee. It will be returned in the Jubilee, and they can go back to their property. You know, Jubilee is something that they did in Israel. They said, if you sell something, and if you sell your land, then you cannot afford to take it back. In the year of Jubilee, people must return something that they have taken which is not theirs. If you owe someone in the year of Jubilee, you cancel that debt. It's in the book of Leviticus, chapter 25, verse 10. Consecrate the 50th year and proclaim liberty throughout the land to all its inhabitants. It shall be a jubilee for you. Each of you is to return to your property and to your own clan. After 50 years, people must get back their land. It doesn't matter who bought it for how much. You have leased the land, you have made business, you have made a profit, but after 50 years, God says you must return the land. Our land needs to be returned back to us. Khotso a e be le lena.